I'm a daughter of Gurkha, ex-veterans Gurkhas, and my father-in-law both they served in the Her Majesty and a long time ago back in 1970s. And those children who were born and brought up in Hong Kong during that serving period, they were allowed to live in Hong Kong and even they allowed to come in the UK after 2007 when Tony Blair and obviously how Joanna Lumley supported ex-Gurkhas, veterans and their children to come, and that's how eventually we be able to come in the UK, and I came along with my husband and my children. And basically we moved here for education purpose for my children's education, better education. We Nepali are very foodie people and food lover. Nepal is a tiny country, but very interestingly, we have 125 ethnic groups. Tiny country, 125 different ethnic groups. You can imagine how many different ingredients, spices, recipes you will find out even in a small country. So in terms of the Nepal is lying between China and between and India, so we're quite influenced by Indian food and we are quite similar. Having said that, Nepal we have our own taste, own typical organic food. For instance, I will give you, although for one example, Indian they call dam aloo, we call aloo dam, but we have our own way of making aloo dam, own way aloo dam. I'll just give an example. Like I lived in Hong Kong so many years, and Hong Kong also makes a dumpling, and Nepali call momo. Just an example. Also, we have our own authentic taste, our own. So obviously, when I used to go food shopping, like any kind of spices and shopping for green estate, I was very amazed to see because I never see that bindi. Now I can see in the Trumpet markets some Indian shop store open there. Otherwise, when I see bindi, I was so excited, so happy. That day is my day, like a bindi and with yellow lentils. It's my favorite. That's how I was. And in talking about the Nepali food, same thing. Like you can see the soybean. Soybean we make quite very our own way, very authentic and a very different way. So like everybody people call here mashed potato. We also in Nepal, in a Himalayan side, there is no any other food other than you can eat potato, and that's also I found mashed potato. It's English name, but actually in Nepal, in Himalaya side, the people they have no other choice. They have to eat every day and mashed potato. That's the differences and similarities quite interesting which I found. And now gradually I found some Nepali shop. I can travel in Greenwich, Plumstead, and we love beaten rice and curry goat. The people call curry goat, we call mutton curry. And I was confused why people calling curry goat, and this is no, it's a mutton curry. And I found very interestingly, English people would know this is a lamb curry. And for me, lamb curry also same, mutton curry also same, curry goat also same. Because I was walking through, in that time I was walking Play Store, and one day I went to meet my friend in near Canada, not Canada. So after this West Ham, I don't forget the place name. What is it? Somewhere that when I was crossing, and I saw Caribbean shop, and I'm the person you can imagine if there is any new type of food, I don't care. I randomly go because I'm paying money. I'm a customer, and I went. It was so interesting. The whole Caribbean people, nice pub, everybody drinking, and they saw me like, who's this lady randomly? And I just said, can I eat curry goat and what's a bean rice? I will share very interesting memories. When the lady showed me that bean rice and curry goat, it was kind of all of a sudden it gave me a kind of reminded me how my mother used to cook. Same bean rice we used to cook in a back in not in a city, village in Nepal. And I said, oh, this is bean rice we used to cook similarly. Only I found curry goat is slightly it's slightly texture is a different. Otherwise same food, different name. But everyone has their own way of cooking, own way of the texture. Yeah, that's good memories when I see Caribbean food and Nepali food. Yeah. First time ever when I tasted kebab and when I saw that because we didn't find it in Nepal. the way we make kebab roll. And that time with the chili, and because we love spicy food, wherever you go in, especially for those not Asian dominant places, you either find fish and chips, which is not my type of food. I always looking for hot and spicy. And one time I was traveling, I just saw in a Ilford area, that was Ilford area, and I randomly popped in and I tried that. First time ever when I try kebab, that is something I found not we do in Nepal that way. But we know we also make kebab in Nepal, and that is only festival time and very special dish, and we call pakku, and we cooked in a deep small, and we cooked for long hour, that takes whole time, and only for festival time. And that is, and again, this is called, here they call sis kebab, those kind of, but we cook very different way. But when I eat first time kebab, that was very interesting thing for me. And I would like to share one interesting we love. I don't know, for me, wherever they allowed me, or always I eat my food by my hand. That's me, wherever I go. I enjoy. One time I was so happy. The reason I was assisting one of my young clients, because I'm working for Salam Shikari Refugee, and I went to support his case in a solicitor when we were coming back. And I know that my young person also from Eritrean background. And where we were going, we saw one especially, I never saw that in the UK, the Eritrean restaurant. And I went because my client also is from background. We are hungry anyway. And I was so amazed. That very interesting new food and everything. And I didn't see any cutleries there, no cutlery. And I asked, where is the fork and cutlery? He said, you are coming to Eritrean restaurant, you have to prepare yourself to eat by hand. Go and wash your hand. I said, and I, wow, interestingly, am I allowed to eat? And yeah, and also everybody they eat. That restaurant is no fork and no cutleries. You have to eat with hand. And food is big, like round, big. Like, I saw in a movie in Arabic culture, that kind of, they are not Arabic, they are Orthodox backgrounds, whatever background, but they are Eritrean backgrounds. The big food around there is a food and kind of lots of different things which is ordered. I enjoy my food with the hand. First time ever, I went to a restaurant, eat freely with a hand and tasted different type of food. And one time I went to one Lebanese restaurant and I enjoyed their modern food, amazed with their culture, decoration. That's how they preserve it. Sometimes it's not always food, how you present and how you preserve your culture, you bring back in the UK also. It was quite fascinating. So that's why sometimes if I go back to my own home country food and I want to ensure, like wherever I go to Nepali restaurant, and I always talk to them and I say, don't just sell Nepali name. You guys ensure you guys really selling Nepali authentic food. Because some of them are, this is a Nepali food, but you've tasted lots of Indian type of taste of curry. And because I'm a food lover and I know I tasted food, and more or less I know how to cook food. And sometimes I learn, you are selling Gorkha curry, for example. There are lots of them. There are Gorkha curry, Gorkha restaurant, authentic food from Himalayan. But when you tasted some of them, it's Indian tasted, lots of oil. And I said, why are you selling Gorkha's curry, Gorkha name? But there's not typical Nepali taste. We are very new to this country, very newly migrated group, I would say. We are very newly migrated group. And we are very invisible group. And if we talk about, nowadays people talking lots about intersectionality, we are within that group. We are not just South Asian, we are Nepali group. And Nepali is a small, invisible group because we have lots of obstacles and barriers in comparison to other South Asians, Indian, Pakistani, Bangladesh, because their history, they have been here for long after 1947 partition. Although Gorkhas and British, their historical background, and if you go back to history, is more than over 200 years bilateral relationship we have. But unfortunately, we are allowed to come this country only after 2007. So we are very new. So invisible group, and we are already having difficulties with intersectionality, and biggest barriers is language. Even for me, when I came to 2009, I started going back to education. I did my GCSE, I did my access to higher education. That's how I, push myself to fit into the society, improve my English. And today here I am to give an interview in English. Not so many women that kind of, I would say either it's that kind of, pushing themselves or encouragement. Most importantly, first thing, you have to have your own determination. Second thing, I found we don't have any connection, any networking outside. Me, I was looking for how I can get access, how I can do myself. I feel recently, okay, how I can support them as well. So if I go back to your question, we have always we love culture, we celebrate culture, and we do lots of our own ethnic Nepali food, we do. But only within, we have let's say, we celebrate Dasai, we celebrate Diwali our own way. Indian people call Diwali, Nepali people call Tihar. And we make our own specific type of roti, we call sel roti, and lots of other type of ethnic foods. As I said, 125 ethnic groups of Nepali people. So many different backgrounds of Nepali are here. I'm from eastern part of Nepal. My husband is from western part of Nepal. And I have friends from middle part of Nepal. And we are here eventually, we are all Nepali. But whenever we do our festival, we come along with and we have our different ethnic dresses as well. We have own dialects as well. My husband, if I speak my mother tongue dialects, my husband will not understand, although he is in Nepali. So obviously we have our own way of food cooking as well. So they would love to. And recently, one friend I saw, she started making her own way of pickles, achar, but we make very different way. So that's also, and we don't know how to not only marketing purpose, whether rules, regulations, whether allowed or not. And that achar also going to distribute within a communities as well. I mean, that's how I learned from my mother. She put her heart, she put her soul, she put her everything love. It's not just cooking food and serving children. That's how I'm very blessed whenever my children, they eat my food. And sometimes, can we order today takeaway? Mom, I'm sorry to say, whenever you're home, I'm happy to assist you in the kitchen. Would you be able to cook this one? That's why I blessed, that's why we passed the generation for our love, care, and food, culture. British food, I love. When my mother was alive, I used to take her every Sunday roast. That's my favorite Sunday roast. I used to take my mother because the Sunday roast is the reason I saw the bonding. Sunday roast means not only going to food, it's a good bonding. You are spending quality time, weekend time for your family.